It's Governor Roundtable. This is a time for the governors to bring up issues of interest. This is one of my favorite times. What do we got? Carla.
Well, I think this would be a good time for us to talk about this whole first read, second read stuff, because it seems like it's really hamstrung us today, at least twice. And I raised this when I first joined the board, looking at our procedures and looking at the suggested agenda format from Robert's Rules of Order. It didn't make any sense to me that we were doing a first read and a second read. It seems to me that it slows us down when we don't need to be slowed down. So I'd just like to throw out for people to discuss, although our president-elect,
Rajiv has a hand.
about to be president, probably has something to say about this.
I have a plan. My plan is to remove the weird bolded annotations except for when it comes to bylaws. So this board will have the discretion to do what it needs to do appropriately.
Then that ends my discussion. Thank you.
Any other issues, hot issues of interest for the governors? Anybody?
Well,
Dan. Yes.
Well, this is Paul.
Go.
Can I
Okay, Paul.
talk? I'm not sure that the board needs to do anything, or maybe just have a discussion. But the issue that I've raised, or the opportunity that I discussed the other day regarding, and I don't know if Kevin Platchey is in the room, but
He is.
the rural placement program, or that's what they have called it. I think of it as a placement and succession project. Could go by any name, but I'd like to get some enthusiasm around the idea of outreach to rural communities, to identify practitioners who are willing to one, either mentor new or new lawyers or lawyers looking for change who want to relocate to rural communities and jump in and provide service where service is needed. Rajiv, what's the name of the gentleman in your district that actually mentioned this to me a few years ago? The guy who thought we should move the offices to Leavenworth, I believe.
Yes, that would be the esteemed Peter Arkinson.
Yes, Arkinson. So, he suggested this to me a couple years ago when we were in Bellingham. Maybe it was a year and a half ago, and we've just been too busy to kind of think about that. But it has stuck with me. And then, sort of lo and behold, the staff is already sort of working on something that's very similar, complementary, almost identical. And I think it's a great opportunity for the board and the staff to work together on a very productive, positive project. I think it's a great opportunity to do something that could be kind of high profile and, have a good action plan around it and get members involved and make a difference for, new lawyers, law students, lawyers in search of a transition, and then also for these communities. If you look at the statistics, there are counties, there are parts of the state that, as was mentioned the other day, just have one or two practicing attorneys. And we have all that information now. Anna's done a very good job of laying the groundwork for this. And I would like to see the board get behind a project with the staff, and I'd be excited to be involved with it, and I'd like to have others involved with it. It's one of these things where, the more the merrier. So I don't know what others think about that, if they think it's viable or not viable, or, any other thoughts that others around the table have.
PJ's got a thought.
Paul, when Bill and Tara and I were doing our last listening tour in Eastern Washington, we heard about this in Clarkston, and we heard about it again in Davenport, the need for succession and older lawyers getting ready to retire and didn't know what to do with their practice. So I think it's a great idea, and maybe one of the things we could think about would be reaching out in these rural areas to have law firms and lawyers tell us what their needs are, and then run a column every month in Washington State Bar News that outlined the opportunities and gave contact information, and so kind of focused everybody who reads Washington State Bar News on the issue and the opportunities that are available, because I think that the three of us learned that there are a lot of very lucrative opportunities available out there if there are young people that are willing to move to places like Clarkston and Davenport and Ritzville.
Agreed.
Excellent.
It's a gold field. Alec? Switching topics, yes.
My topic is an appreciation to you, Bill. You came in under circumstances that were way beyond your control. You came in, after we had already had at least some difficulties regarding a previous president, and then in your support of the president, you ascended to the presidency, without very much preparation to do that. You thought you had your year where you would learn from watching the experience and supporting, when in fact you had what was a half year. There are a number of people who may have other observations, but here are some of mine in particular. I absolutely appreciate, and I'm glad I was able to witness, how you honored members around the state when we were doing local heroes. Now, there will be others who will do it, but I always got the connection, and you made it a personal connection, which I think was absolutely valuable for those local bars and the people who were recognized. And I appreciate that. And of course, you then, with Tara's help, but I think it was your hand with the idea of expanding, doing the listening tour, and really getting out and getting about to just meet the members, to just talk to them. You haven't been perfect, but you have been absolutely committed to making connections for our association. And I want to appreciate you for that work. And just thank you for your service. And look forward to you probably won't talk as long as Hislop did as a past president. But we'll look forward to your insights. And also, one other thing, when members are here or on the phone, I've appreciated your making sure we take the time to hear from them. And so, for those reasons in particular, I want to thank you for your service. You're usually thanking everybody else, but sir, you get my thanks.
Thank you. I probably wouldn't have let you change that issue if I knew that's where you were going to go, but we kind of rolled into it, and we're watching the time. So let me just say really quickly, I'm going to move into the closing remarks. And
I didn't know Bill was here. Whatever I said, don't...
All right. So we're going to try to make a 3:15, just to be aware, 3:15 exec session. President, my president, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pickett, President Pickett, my president. And to you too, Alec. It's nice to see you. It's very nice to see all of you, and it's great to sit here and listen to some of your deliberations. I want to take just a minute to recognize Bill Pickett. He's an extraordinary individual. On behalf of the 40,000 plus members of our association, you have absolutely given it your all in very extraordinary times, very extraordinary issues, very extraordinary 18 months that no one ever would have guessed. And you've done it with aplomb, you've done it with grace, you've given your absolute heart to this organization. I'm sure that along the way, I haven't followed all of your words, but I'm sure that you've expressed some passion along the way, as well as I know that this board has. But Bill, when you get into something, you give it your all, and you lay your heart on the table. You talked about trust and civility and service, and that's who you are. And I am so proud to call you my friend, to call you a fellow attorney, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of all of our members for the fabulous service that you've given to this board in your service as a member of the Board of Governors, as president-elect and as president, and I know that you'll continue to give that as the immediate past president. Very few people know what it's like to be president of this organization. And so I think I can say on behalf of all the past presidents that we welcome you into that family. They don't really, it's kind of like some relatives, you don't necessarily see each other. But what is it, 27 counties, Tara? 25 counties? My gosh, I cannot think of anybody who has given it their all as you have, and you are an extraordinary individual and a wonderful, wonderful person to represent this profession, to lead the mission of this organization, to respect that ultimately we are all here not for ourselves, but for the service to others. You've given your all to access to justice in so many different ways to make sure that our courthouses stay open. All of the Bar Association, so much of it is beyond what occurs in this room. And you've been a president for not only the things that have occurred in this room, but so much of what the bar does outside of this room. And I just tell you from the bottom of my heart, as a member of this association, I am so very thankful for Bill Pickett and what you have done for the WSBA. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, it's not quite over yet. I'm not going to make a speech because I already did that at the president's reception. But I do have Bill's crystal for his service on the Board of Governors. We never managed to get it to him when he finished. So he's getting it now.
Great. Thank you.
And I think Rajiv has one more piece of memorabilia.
But I like talking. Much like our President Pickett, I also like talking. I have two things for you. First, when you become president, you get a gavel. Bill's already been given this gavel, so it's not mine to give to him. I'm in possession of stolen property. But the funny thing is, you don't get the base until you complete your term of service. So, Bill, thank you.
Thank you.
But more importantly, as former President Hislop mentioned, Bill does go beyond the call of duty in his travels to the 25 counties, but Bill has had the opportunity to do WSBA ambassadorship even farther away. He went all the way to Cambodia, and when you're president, apparently I've learned this recently in the last couple of days from Bill. We had dinner last week, and you apparently get a secret pin that's very cool, of which I have a copy here. It's not mine. Bill gave his pin away to the president of the Cambodian Bar Association as a sign of gesture of friendship from across the ocean. And Bill, you have another pin.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to try to be quick because I know we're going to move into exec session. So this is really what I want to say, and actually, if you ever get a chance to give Dan. Okay. Sorry. And then I'll be quick
Well,
for the first time.
okay, you just stole my thunder, you guys. That was what I was going to do, okay, for you, Bill. But I want to make a point to, say thank you, Chris and Dan and Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a real honor to serve with you for the time that I have, to know you. I consider you all friends, and it's been really a cool experience. That's something that I'm going to miss all three of you guys. And this is the third year that I've had to be here, and I always get emotional at this because it almost feels like a death, starting a new bug year. But to you all, I really do. This has been the coolest thing that I have ever done, and I really consider you all friends. And I mean, yeah, thank you so much. So.
Thanks, Dan.